Hey, nobody should watch this. I'm just making this video. Nobody should watch this, but I'm just making this video for transparency because I want to kind of like live transparently from now on because why? I don't know. Also, I just don't have a life. Like I'm just sitting here like I'm right now. I've been generating orc porn. I'm just doing this thing where I'm procrastinating on walking my dogs and I'm generating orc porn. And I've just got to get a job on Friday. Until I get a job, I have like nothing to do. Dude, I just got to get a job and hold a job. Anyway, I'm just going to rant for a while, but you shouldn't watch this. I'm just kind of milling these thoughts around in my head. But I want to mill thoughts around in my head kind of like transparently because, I don't know, it just kind of like helps me to like think like what's the right thing to do or something. I don't know, but one of my thoughts is like maybe the right thing to do is like the bad thing to do. What's the point? I don't know. This will just what am I trying to say? Probably no one's watching this, but in case that lady in Africa is watching this, I'm not trying to do some kind of like, maybe I won't give money or something like that. I'm just basically like, what am I trying to say? Just, I think, I don't want to rant. Nobody should watch this, but just my grandmother is related to me. My grandmother on my dad's side, when I was a vegetarian since I was 4, and my grandmother is related to me, and my grandmother is also a vegetarian, and she was kind of like, oh, like I just keep thinking the older I get, like a lot of things are genetic and just a lot of things in humanity have kind of like always gone on. Get the point. This is kind of stupid. I don't want to do like a lot of drama shit, but these are just my thoughts. It's basically like, I am a lot like my dad and probably by extension, like my grandmother. And my grandmother had 100 cats when I knew her. She became like an old cat lady because she had like, she's a soft, like hearted person like me. Like I'm kind of like like kind of a foolish kind of sucker person, bleeding heart. And so get to the point, like really I should be transparent basically just for the sake of like not getting like taken advantage of. And so I'm probably just going to keep making videos like this. But anyway, get to the point. I don't know, I'm just going to ramble. Nobody should watch this, but just I'm thinking things out long term. Anyway, long story short, there's this weird, I don't really know what's what. I know there's all these like different perspectives in life, and I've just mostly hid in my parents' house. And so like I kind of always wonder like who's right? Like who's right? Like are the rednecks right? Are the liberals right? And then I just keep thinking that like in the future they'll probably have universal basic income and all of this will kind of seem like silly. But anyway, what's the point? Just like I have this plan to like give money to people in Africa. But the older I get, the more and more like this shit has been going on for hundreds of years. Like all of these kind of things. There's nothing new under the sun. Anyway, get to the point, Sean. Nobody should watch this. Don't waste your time on this. But there's a famous book out there by Ralph Waldo Emerson. I gotta relax. I'm all hopped up on testosterone. Anyway, Ralph Waldo Emerson. You shouldn't do testosterone by the way, unless you're really old like me. Maybe then not even. Anyway, get to the point. Anyway, Ralph Waldo Emerson. He wrote this book called Self-Reliance, and it's kind of a get the point. Anyway, there's this quote in it that goes through my head sometimes, where basically he got asked for like charity, and he has this quote where he kind of says like, don't like he's kind of like don't ask me for charity like those poor people, they're not my poor, and he says like, give money to your neighbor, give money to your butcher, give money to your hardware store guy, your store, like your neighbor. And so that's kind of like a redneck perspective. Like I don't really know what's going on in the world, but I know that there's always been conservatives and liberals, and the liberal people, they have this the liberal people, they say like, and a good day to you and yours, which basically is like, I don't know, I'm just ranting. These are all just thoughts going through my head. But basically it seems like there's always been sort of a push-pull between like the people who want to be good, but then their do-gooderness kind of like gets them in trouble. It's always been a human thing. Like, what's the point? Just it's all personified in movies. There's nothing new under the sun. Anyway, it's old cliche, but like get the point. There's this character named Oppum. There's this great movie called Saving Private Ryan, and there's this character named Oppum who's kind of like a weak dude, but weak. There's kind of like it seems like there's a clear, like weakness and kind of noble weakness and good-heartedness are kind of like sometimes kind of blurry neighbors, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about, but just there's this character named Oppum in Saving Private Ryan who's like, no, we have to do the right thing, we gotta like be kind to all of humanity and stuff. And then the guy's like, all right, like we'll be kind to all humanity. But then kind of it like bites him in the ass. And that stuff kind of can really happen. And so I imagine that's kind of happening like right now. Like basically, like I don't know what's going on in the world, but I keep hearing on the YouTube that there's all this like pull between like people who are like help the world, like we gotta be more globalist. But then there's this thing in Titanic where like there's a lot of people in the world. There's a lot of cold in the world. I'm just being dramatic. You shouldn't watch this, but Titanic has like a lot of cool moments in it too. And Titanic basically has this thing where it's like there's this lady named Unsinkable Molly Brown, and she's like, we gotta help people. Like there's people out there and they're suffering and stuff. And then the guy says, look, if we try to help all those people, they're gonna drag us down. Like, do you want to live or do you want to die? Like we gotta be fucking selfish. And so it's like these kind of things have like always existed, and I've been pleasantly kind of like sheltered from all of it. But it's interesting that the older I get, the more I'm more like, oh, this shit has been going on for like as long as there's been humans. And so what's the point? They're all kind of things that my dad has kind of like protected me from, and I've kind of like just been, I'm not playing life. But that's no fucking excuse. Well, I got to get a job and I have to like try to do some good. Anyway, get to the point, Sean. But I'm always like spinning my wheels. Once I get a job, I won't have time to do all this like spinning my wheels. Anyway, get to the point. There's this quote in like Ralph Waldo Emerson, Self-Reliance, where he basically says like, I confess with shame, I sometimes succumb and give the dollar. It is a wicked dollar. That's a really weird quote. It is a wicked dollar, which by and by I shall have the manhood to withhold. Like basically Ralph Waldo Emerson in Self-Reliance was kind of advocating the redneck perspective, which is basically like, you know, give to your neighbors. Like, you know, these poor people, like they're not my poor. Like he says, like watch out for your team. And so I feel like America, I guess humans have always kind of like struggled with that. Get the point. But when if they have universal basic income, it'll be really clear that like the selfish people were kind of bastards. But you know, maybe you can't like help everybody in the world. Like maybe, I don't really know the way economics works. Actually, but I tend to basically, I don't really know shit from shit, but I basically think like if humanity doesn't kind of like, if it's really like just me and my team, then it seems like humanity's kind of fucked. Because everybody can say that. Like if China, I'm just extrapolating, but like if China got universal basic, like let's say China got, let's say that they win the machine race. Let's say that China wins the machine race. I'm just tripping out. But let's say hypothetically, China wins the machine race. They get artificial general intelligence and they kind of like they're like, oh, sorry, we run the world. We're going to really hope that like there's charity for the weak because we're all going to be fucking weak. And so we're going to be like, dude, I hope humanity kind of like, isn't just like, and a good day to you and yours, because you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, another hypothetical situation is like, what if the mega rich kind of like own all the machines? Like, what if it's just like Jeff Bezos and like his little buddies and like, there's just like the mega rich and they're like, oh, we have like all the machines and there's no jobs. And then it's kind of going to be like, well, does humanity really give a shit about anybody other than you and yours? Like you and your team? Like, it's kind of like, I hope there's fucking like care for others. What's the point? And so like I've always been like a vegetarian, and so I'm always kind of like, you can't just, I don't know, it seems like fucked up to just like to get like too much luxury stuff at the expense of others when you don't even have to deprive others. It seems kind of fucked up. What's the point? I don't know, these are all things that are kind of like, I'm just thinking about it from my mom's basement. It's just kind of like these things have kind of always gone on. Anyway, get to the point, Sean. But I wonder just basically like, I'm trying to be objective, and I know that I definitely didn't play the role of a man. Like when this guy says it is a wicked, he says, I confess with shame that sometimes I succumb and give the dollar. It is a wicked dollar, which by and by I shall have the manhood to withhold. And I'm like, first of all, like why is giving charity wicked? Why that's a weird word, wicked. And like I know that there's like when I listen to a lot of these macho podcasts, like Jocko podcast is kind of like a ruthless kind of like, he's kind of more on the redneck team. He kind of has said that too. He says that like a lot of charity, I don't know if he said charity specifically, but I think he said something like that, is wickedness. It seems like, isn't it good? Isn't it good to like help others? What's the point? So I basically just want to ask the fucking like, and also like, why is it manliness? Like maybe what's the point? Like maybe like, I always think of, when I think of like a man, I think about like a Barbarella Bear, man. There's this great movie. This is a great movie called Barbarella. There's this movie called Barbarella. Anyway, long story short, there's this movie called Barbarella. Can I finish the sentence? Yeah, there was a movie called Barbarella, and there was this man. There was a fucking manly dude, and the manly dude, he had his way to keep himself alive, and he was a man of means, and he kind of like he had a way to get resources, he had weapons, and he had like a safe domicile. I'm going to say this in such a nerdy way, but yeah, he kind of like, he was self-reliant, and he kind of was like, I can keep myself alive and I can keep you alive, but he's like, you know, it's going to cost you. So what's the point? I wonder just basically if that's always been sort of like the essence of manliness, is basically there's men who are just like, hey, it's a fucking world of like infinite cold. It's fucking cold out there, and there isn't enough heat to fucking like, you're not gonna like heat the world. Like if you're trying to like save every dog in the world and stuff, you're just gonna get sucked down like the fucking Titanic. And if you're lucky, maybe you can keep like enough heat for yourself, and by extension, maybe you can like help like a woman, and you can like have your fucking progeny. You can keep enough heat to like keep yourself alive, and then keep your fucking wife and kids alive, like every single one of your fucking ancestors, until you like every single, like if you're alive right now, you're at the, everybody, or this is all cliche shit, but like just anybody alive today, they are at the end of an infinitely long succession of their direct ancestors who had two jobs. It's real basic. They stayed alive, and they fucked, and they had kids, and so like by definition, like every one of your ancestors was like able to complete their mission, their mission to like basic mission, stay alive and then breed. And if you don't have kids, if I don't have kids, I'm gonna be the first one who's like, I can't do it, no one will fuck me. And that's my fate. It's like I fucked up. And maybe I just wasn't a man. I wasn't man enough to just get the fucking dick in the pussy and just do what it fucking takes. I don't know, just sweet talker, just quit being fucking nice. Just get the fucking dick in the pussy, and then keep the fucking kids alive, and just do your fucking like mammal job. What's the point? Anyway, I'm just sitting here like jerking off to orc porn, and I just want to keep like, I'm too old. I just keep desperately saying to my ex, I've been saying this for like 10 years in this room. Well, I've basically been dying. Is like, dude, Christy, I'm sorry I didn't get you pregnant. Like, I still just wanna. I just hid. I was just a coward. I was a coward like Opham, and life like passed me by. And maybe I should have just, I wonder, like, do men just have to be ruthless? Do they just, is it just basically, are women basically like prostitutes? And the real men, they can fucking handle that. They get the fucking resources, and then they get the fucking woman, and they're like, we're gonna fuck, and I'm gonna keep you alive, and that's fucking it. And then there's like a bunch of, anyway, but what's the point? Anyway, basically, I just keep saying the same shit over and over, but like, I don't know, Christy, like, if you like, I don't want you to like marry this guy, so if you, in the back of my stupid mind, I'm always thinking like, Christy's like still in the Bay Area because she's waiting for me. She's waiting. This is my brain just saying this. It's all my ego. I don't even, she's expressed no interest in me at all. And so I'm sure this is probably, it's not true. Let's just say this is just my imagination. My wishful thinking is like, there must be a reason why Christy has waited here all this time. Yeah, because she has all her friends here and family. Which way? And I'm always kind of like, why has she waited so long? Why is she waiting like 3 years to marry this guy? She's holding out. She's putting a picture on her Facebook being like, you don't know what you're missing. You fool, Sean. You had a real beautiful woman and you didn't man up. And she's like, I'm worth it. Like, I'm worth it. And I'm hoping. I always wonder, like, why can't women, my mom too, my mom has this kind of thing where, like, she wants you to, like, show that you really love her. She doesn't want to, like, say, like, hey, can you, like, come over? She's always like, no, if you don't love me, then I'll just, then it's not right. They want you to, like, show, which point, no, it's all just in my head. But basically, this is, all I can really do with my ex is I can just say, like, dude, I'll get a job and I'll, like, take care of you and I want to save you. I want to, like, keep you. I don't know, you're my favorite woman. I'm like crazy attracted to you, and I know you're not attracted to me though. I watched the video, and it's just like there's no attraction in your eyes anymore for me. You like look down on me with like pity now and stuff. I got too old and I have no potential anymore. Anyway, good point. But yeah, I'll just say like, if Christy, I don't know, I want to marry Christy, and I just want to have kids with Christy. Let's see, Christy is 39. She could still potentially have kids. That's still what I want to do. I just want to fuck, and I want to do my mammal job, and I want to have babies with Christy. I tried. I keep thinking I'm trying to like not have regret now, but I looked this up before. I looked this up with Christy. There's 50 weeks. There's 50 weeks in a year. Me and Christy were together for a year or 3 years, and so if you do 50 times 3, I probably ejected a live load of cum into. Well, the first few months we were having sex with a condom, and so I probably came into her pussy probably around like 400 times. I don't know, at least 300, because I know like, I don't know, sometimes I think we probably had sex on average like 3, but I can't remember, but I'd say like at least 300 times, maybe 200 times, but 200 at the minimum, 200 times. So if I came into her pussy 200 times, I fucking tried, God. I tried to do my mammal job. I wanted to like merge with her. And so at which point, I still want to merge with her, but my power has like dwindled. And now I have like no power over her at all. I haven't had power over her for like a long time. And the spell was broken like fucking 13 years ago. But I never like found anybody else. And so now basically I'm just thinking like, well, I can just keep saying like, you know, I want to like save you, Christy. She doesn't need saving. But anyway, this is all like in my head. I'm sure she just has lots of friends and she's self-reliant and she really loves this guy and they're together. But in my head, I'm like, maybe she's just playing games. Like maybe she's just saying like, you don't know what you're missing. Maybe I had this, nobody's watching, right? I had a girlfriend when I was 18 who kind of asked, she had these other guys that she kind of wanted to be into, and she said like, can I refer to you as my boyfriend? But she just wanted to use me to like make some other guy jealous. And so that's in my head, I'm imagining like, Christy, she's loyal to me. She's loyal to me and she loves me. And deep down, she can't move, or she would have done it by now. She would have done it by, I'm like, why hasn't she gone to Scotland already? And so I'm like, she's waiting for me to prove that I love her. She's saying like, you have to be a man, Sean. She's saying like, words without change are meaningless. Like, if he really loves you, he'll save you. He'll get a job and he'll take care of you and make your dreams come true. There is really kind of a thing of like what about her? Like what about Christy? Let me just keep talking about it. I'm just gonna keep talking about all these things. They're just kind of running through my head. There was this movie. There was like all these things are going through my head. It's all over, but like anyway, I remember when I quit my job. I had this job and I quit our apartment. I quit our job, and so I kind of like let go of like making Christy's dreams come true. I don't remember everything that happened, but like I remember this specifically. I remember when I quit my job, I came home and we were watching Dr. Phil on TV, and they had this guy who was like, they had an episode of Dr. Phil where this guy was he was a grown-up baby. I'm sure they have like a thing of it. Get the point, Sean. There was a guy on Dr. Phil. No, I don't want this thing. Dr. Phil, grown man or baby. Yeah, this guy. There was a guy on Dr. Phil who was a big grown-up baby. It was probably a fake story, but he wanted his wife to feed him in a feeding chair, and he wanted to have the spoon. He's like some techie guy or something, and he wanted his wife to like feed him in a baby chair. It was probably fake, but I remember Dr. Phil specifically saying to the guy, like, he said to the woman, like, he said like, this is really, you're not being a man. You're not being a man. But then he also said to the woman, like, he said, the other question though is like, why are you settling for some like grown-up baby? Like, you should have enough self-respect to basically say like, I'm worth more than this. Like, I have dreams and stuff too. So what's the point? I don't know. I just imagine that Christy has been talked to by like a lot of well-meaning friends who care about her, and kind of like therapists who are probably like Dr. Phil, and they probably say a similar thing. They're like, you got to like watch out for your own dreams. And so what's the point? And so that's kind of right for Christy has her own. It's kind of like the more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm just like, oh, I was just one of many guys that like Christy was trying to find to like fulfill her dreams. She had dreams of like having like a wedding. She wanted to have a wedding with like this Coldplay song, and then she wanted to have like a grand piano. And so it's kind of, it's kind of like, I hope she gets her dreams. Now, I could like really beat myself up and be like, why didn't I make her dreams? I failed to make her dreams come true. She was with a lot of other guys after me, and so it's kind of like, well, why didn't any other guy make her dreams come true? But basically, I'm like, dude, I'll still like try to make your dreams come true. Like, if you're watching this, I'm gonna get a job on Friday. I'm down to just try to marry you. I've got nothing else to do. I want to like invest in. I want to be with Christy. I really miss Christy. I'm always pining for it. It never like goes away, especially if I'm on like testosterone. But I'm not like abusive anymore. Like I'm too old to be like abusive, and I can be kind of stable, I think, if I just keep a job. But I watched that video. She doesn't have any attraction to me anymore. Anyway, what's your point? I'm like an old fucking. You kind of lose the cuteness. Like, it's like a fucking. What's your point? Anyway, I'm always like harping about like aging and death. Nobody wants to deal with this. But get the point. I think I can like not do it though. I think if I just keep a job, I could just basically be with Christy, and then like. If she can't have kids, I hear that like in like the next 10 years, they might have some kind of thing where they can take our cells, they can like scrape off some of our cells, and they can make like a baby in like a test tube from two people's baby. I would love to like have a baby with Christy, because I just have this thing where it's just really clear that like, oh, you just kind of like get old and die. So if you just kind of like, you can like hide in your parents' basement forever, but then eventually like it gets kind of boring, you get tired of all the little game, and just I've been trying to do all this like self-improvement shit, and I'm just like, oh, I'm not like improving, like I'm definitely fucking worse, and I'm kind of bored with everything. So what's the point? Dude, you're supposed to have fucking kids. You can't just be a fucking baby forever. You are part of a chain of humanity, and life kind of does go on forever, just not for any one individual. Like your wife's pussy is future children, and like what's your point? We're kind of like part of a chain, and that's what men should do. There's a song by Trent Reznor called "The Way Out Is Through," and I think that too. I think the way out. There's no way out of like life except through the woman's pussy, and then you have the kids, and the kids are kind of like an extension of you or some shit. But what's your point? That's the only way to do it, is you got to unload your cargo onto a newly christened ship. I don't know. This is all just perspective. Like, you don't really have to do that. There's this guy. I can just go on and on. This is all fucking bullshit. Anyway, I've listened to this guy. This is an inspiring guy if you don't have kids. This guy called Bill Maher. He's 70 years old. He's like, seems really happy and well adjusted and not depressed at all. And he has no kids. And so, what's the point? I guess you don't really have to have kids, but what's the point? Anyway, so the question at hand, the reason I want to keep making this kind of transparency stuff is I have to basically like make sure to not get taken advantage of. Anyway, get the point. I don't know, like I've offered to, I've offered like, I'll get a job on like this Friday. I'm starting this new job, and I'll try to keep a job, and I'll just keep saying to Christy like, dude, I'll be with you. She doesn't want to be called dude. She's not watching this, but just I'll be with Christy. I guess like you need like a connection. Like also, if I watch these videos, we have no connection. Like I don't even know. We probably don't even have any like. We haven't even talked with each other, so it's probably like ridiculous to be saying this, because I guess it takes time to like nurture like a connection, you know. And so, what's your point? I don't know. I'm kind of like too far gone now. I'm just stuck in. So anyway, I'll just keep saying like, I don't know. I don't want her to marry this guy. I just want her to marry me. I want to marry her. Now, she's probably not even watching this, but I would imagine if she was watching this, she could kind of think something like, you're just ego. You're just this is your ego. You want the satisfaction of trying to make, you want to see that you still have some kind of power over me. And she's like, you can't hurt me now. I've broken away from any, I won't. There's a song called Fool for Love by Tess Egan. She says something like, you best be looking for somebody else without a foolish heart. And she said, I stuck around, but then I was a fool for love, but not anymore. Now I'm going to get mine. I listened to Madonna, and she's like, don't go for second best. You gotta find what you need is a big, strong hand to lift you up to your higher ground, make you feel like a queen on the throne. He'll be back on his knees to express himself. Yeah, dude, I'm back on my knees. I'm on my knees to express myself. But I'm too fucking old and poor and unimpressive. And powerless. I'm weak and powerless. Pathetic. You're fucking pathetic, son. Yeah, so anyway, long story short, I just keep saying that. It's like, I'll still be with my ex, but in the back of my head, I'm always thinking like, dude, she hasn't left yet. Why is she taking 3 years to like marry this guy? She must still love me. She must still love me. She's staying here because in her heart, she's thinking like, Sean's surely gonna save me. That's my head. That's in my head. What's the point? It's all bullshit. It's all just, there's no like, there's no indication that any of that is true. There's no evidence to suggest any of that. It's all my dick. My dick is just doing some wishful thinking. What's the point? I don't know. That's what I feel like. I don't know. But anyway, okay, so let's just assume that, anyway, I'll just say like, offer stands indefinitely. Like, I'll be with Christy. I'll live stream, like, if I'm worried that like I'll be like a jerk or something like that, I won't be a jerk. Like, I could live stream my whole life and I could just say like, my goal is to just kind of like stay married to Christy and be good, and I'll drive her to like the hospital. I'll go watch movies. I'll do anything. I got nothing else to do. Like, I'm just bored. Anyway, okay, so, but I've said that over and over. I don't know. Maybe she's heard it. Maybe I've written her tons of emails. She had a restraining order against me because I said all this, like, I said it, everything. I've thrown everything I could at her, and she's like, has not responded for like 10 years. So it couldn't be much more clear that like, no, okay. Okay, so let's just say that no. Okay, so then there's the next thing. It's like, okay, well then let's try to do some like, I'm gonna get this job and I'm gonna try to do some like do-gooder stuff. Dude, there's this guy called Colby. There's a guy called Colby, and I won't put his last name on here, but I looked up the last name, and apparently there's a guy with his name in like the middle of he's in like, I don't know, the middle America, maybe like Missouri or Kentucky or something like that. Kansas, Oklahoma, maybe he's in Oklahoma, and he's if it's the same dude, it's like a redneck dude, and he's got like a hot wife and like 2 kids, and I'm like, damn, I'm fucking jealous. He's got like a pretty wife and like 2 kids, and that's the fucking way to be. That's the fucking way. I wish I was man enough to fucking do that. It's just simple life, like fucking, like the Leonard Skinner song, go find a woman you'll find love, don't forget there's somebody up above. He just in the pictures he kind of like takes, he was like dealing with cows, like at like maybe he works in like a slaughterhouse or something like that. And so what's the point? Maybe he, this just, maybe it isn't even the same guy, but maybe he found me because I was on a bow hunt. I went on to bow hunting Reddit site, and I was yelling at all the people on bow hunting, being like, what the fuck, like you shouldn't like go kill animals. But what's the point? Maybe he's of the Emerson idea that like a good day to you and yours, like there isn't enough, life is fucking short, and you got to hoard the resources, and if you got to kill some animals to like provide for your family, I'm interested in my family, I'm interested in my kids, and we can't fucking like save the whales, and we can't save like the world or stuff. And so which one? I don't know, I'm kind of confused, but I would imagine that if you had kids, there would be kind of something that would kick in and be like, I'm keeping my kids alive, and I'm keeping the resources for my kids' college fund. I never had kids, so because I don't have kids, I'm basically like thinking like, oh fuck it, let's just send money to Africa or something. What's the point? Anyway, so I'll get to the thing. But just kudos to the people who can fuck and have kids, and just, I wish I did it. I wish I had kids, and I wish I had like a hot chick. He's got like a hot wife, if it's the same guy. Maybe it's not the same guy. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so there's this lady named Esther. So Esther, I want to do some like do-gooder stuff, but I don't want to be like old people. They end up getting they can be kind of suckers for causes and stuff. They can get preyed upon by like charities and stuff like that. Nobody's watching, right? But like, I used to volunteer at the Humane Society in 2015, and I saw that like there was just all these like sad old people. There were all these sad old like lonely people who were just like, I'll go help the dogs and stuff. And I was kind of like, oh, these people are heroes. But then eventually I thought like, oh, maybe they're just like old people who don't have kids, and they're just like I have a lot of love to give. It was fucked up, dude, fucked up. Anyway, long story short, so I'm basically trying to think out loud, and there's this lady, she showed this picture of this dog, and she says on this thing like, I know your mission is to help those who are suffering, and I wanted to. So I'm doing this thing where I like, if I get a job, I should do some do-gooder stuff. I want to help somebody, you know, because like I'm just sitting in a room like wasting my fucking time jerking off to orc porn. There's probably some better things I could do for others if I can't get laid and have kids of my own. What's the point? So basically, that is something. If I want, I'm just gonna say, hey, Christy, I'll marry you if I can keep a job. But I know you want I don't know. I guess you want your Scotland guy, and so. But I still love you. I still love you, and I don't want you to marry the guy. I'll get a job. I'm sorry, like I didn't. I'll say this too. Nobody's watching this, right? I'm sorry that I didn't like think enough about your dreams and stuff. Like I do kind of think about your dreams. I do feel bad. I want to say I'm sorry that like I didn't make your dreams come true. I dropped the ball. But I really, just like you don't think that I'm the one now, I didn't think you were the one. I didn't think I was your one either. Like nobody's watching this, right? But my ex, she wrote this thing 6 years ago where she said like, you ruined my life or something like that. I don't know. That's what I remember. And I was kind of like, well, what about like all the other guys? Like, it wasn't just me that like, how come no other guy has kind of been you? And so that's kind of why I'm saying this is because there's like, maybe it's just my ego, but there's a part of me that's saying that like, maybe she didn't make it with any of the other guys because she truly loves me. Maybe I'm meant to be with her and I failed to do my mission. She was the one life, one dream, and she was my one, and maybe that's just the only way. She's the door, and I never fucking like went through it, and it's still there. Like she might go to Scotland and it might not work. God's like, that's not the door, that's not the person for you. And she's like, fuck, when's my guy gonna like come through? And meanwhile I'm just this fucking pathetic Oppum guy who's like, I can't do it. What's fun? I don't know, this is all in my head. Basically, if Christy's watching this, I think when I watch the video with Christy, she's kind of like matured, and she's kind of like, you silly boy. Like when I'm watching the video, she's kind of like older and wiser, and she kind of has this. I was talking with her on this video like 2 years ago, and she was saying like you'll find another girl. Like she said, you have some game you can pull. Just don't just say like, let's have sex. And she basically kind of, her mom, I remember when she broke up with me a long time ago, or I broke up with her, her mom kind of said like, guys are like buses at the bus stop where like one comes by every 10 minutes and stuff. And so, but there is kind of a thing in my brain going like, why hasn't she like been with anybody else? Nobody's watching, right? Anyway, I'm going to start this new job on Friday, and I'm just going to continually say to Christy, like, I love you. I'll be with you. You're my favorite. You're the most exciting, like, beautiful, perfect. You're, like, perfect for me. I don't know. To me, you're perfect. I love all your stuff. I love your flaws. I love your, you're beautiful, and just, I feel like I only could be with you. Is that true? I could definitely be with you. There was like I had 6 other women that I was with after you, and I was just like, oh, I can't go the distance with any of these people. And so, what's your point? Maybe you're not like that. But I keep thinking like maybe women have some kind of thing where you have to like show them. You have to like show them that like and they're basically saying like I wonder if just eventually when women get older they have this thing in their head where like no self-respecting woman is going to be with some jobless broke guy. Like they're like, I'm worth it, and women and children first. And so she's like, I'm prioritizing my life and my dreams over your silliness. And this guy in Scotland, if he has a job, it's like if he's gonna like take care of me, I'm getting my dreams. It's up to me. There's all this like therapy talk, but people have some idea about like it's up to me to make my dreams come true. You gotta respect yourself. That's what Madonna says to the women. And she says, don't go for second best. You gotta find. He's gotta find what you need is a big strong hand to lift you to your higher ground. Which point I don't really know. Anyway, long story short, so I'll just keep saying the same shit as like for Christy. Like if you're watching this, I don't know if that's the case. If you're waiting for me, which is unlikely. If that's true, then I'm getting a job on Friday, and I'll like marry you. I'll stay with you. I'll live with you. I could live with you and still visit my dad and stuff, or you could live with me. You can like live here, and I won't be like abusive at all. I'm too old to like be abusive, and Also, like, if you, like, this is all in my head, but I'm just, if no one's watching, like, if you kind of, like, didn't, like, if you forgo your marriage with your guy in Scotland, then I owe it to you. Then I have to be like, well, like, dude, if she burned that bridge, I have to keep my bridge, like, forever. And so I'll be like, here, if you do that, I'll, like, stay with you forever, no matter what. I can do that. I can stay with you forever, no matter what. I got nothing else to do now. And I'm always, like, missing you and stuff. Anyway, offer stands. But I don't know. What am I trying to say? Just, I know that, like, I'm just going by what you've basically said, which is nothing. So since you've said nothing, the answer is, like, if she wanted you, she would say something. And so she hasn't saying anything. So I'm just going by that. But I'll just keep saying, like, I don't know, I still like you. And so, what's the point? Anyway, so let's just assume that, like, Christy doesn't like me, which couldn't be, like, more clear. And so, in the meantime, so this lady in Africa, she's like, the lady in Africa, she has this dog. So she's basically saying, like, dude, I'm just generating orc porn. There's this prompt I put into orc porn. I'm just generating, like, this is the prompt. This is this thing called, this is kind of old. This is, like, get the point, Sean. There's this website called PromptChan. I'm in, like, a dark, like, pit of despair. I'm just eating ice cream and, like, potato chips, and I'm just generating. There's this thing called PromptChan where you can just put in, like, whatever kind of, like, weird fantasy that, like, gets you off, and I'm just trying to make myself really horny. And so anyway, get the point. I have this thing. I say, this is my prompt. Is like Cammy from Street Fighter, completely naked, with 2 long blonde braided pigtails, short blonde bangs, thick thighs, wide hips. Dude, wide hips is like even more horny making. Pussy hair, blonde pussy hair, eyes closed, moaning, shackled above her head to the ceiling in a torture chamber, surrounded by orcs, being flayed, seared, whipped, electrocuted, pounded, fucked with torture weapons. She's getting fucked rough by an orc. His dick is in her pussy. He's grabbing her breasts, and she's writhing. Yeah, why doesn't Christy want to be with me? Well, she's not even watching this, but just she's writhing, resisting, twisting, in panic to get free. These are the prompts. Like, I've just carefully crafted these little prompts. I'll send money to the lady in Africa in a second, but, like, get the point. Yeah, like, there's all these prompts. Like, I started out, you can just kind of, like, keep tweaking these little things. I said Cammy from Street Fighter, completely naked, and then I just said she's in a torture chamber getting fucked by an orc. His dick is in her pussy. And then, like, I just kind of more and more, there's something hot about her, like, getting tortured. Is that fucking weird? Yeah, that's fucking weird. That screams, like, abuse, right? Like, if somebody is watching this, they'd be like, no wonder you're fucking single. Like, you're some creepy fucking sicko loser abusive guy. Which point, it's just, there's kinky stuff with, like, shoehorns and whips and collars and stuff. I'm not really into it. I don't even have sex anymore. I'm trying anything I can to just make myself hornier. What's the point? Also, like, PromptChan, they don't let you do certain shit. I'm just gonna talk about this. Nobody's watching, but on PromptChan, they don't let you do, like, torture devices. Like I said, like, can you put, like, some kind of torture device on her? And then another thing that I thought that would kind of, like, potentially get me off is, like, having, like, tarantulas. Like, I used to draw Cammy from Street Fighter with, like, aliens, like, gripping onto her pussy with, like, teeth, and, like, they're trying to get in her pussy. And then there's, like, tarantulas who are crawling into her pussy. They don't do that. Like, if you try to get, like, really weird, it won't make tarantulas touching her. Like, you can have tentacles going into her pussy, but you can't have tarantulas. It's weird. And it won't do, like, certain stuff. It won't do real kind of, like, torture stuff. Can't do torture. You can have her back. What's what? I love this transparency, because I like the idea that, just, like, if I ever get, like, really fucking, I'm too old to be, like, dangerous or something. I would never. I'm too nerdy. What's the point? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. This isn't, like, interesting. I'm too old to even talk about this. But get the point. Just, like, you can type in battered and bruised. Like, there's some fantasy I have of Makai from Final Fight she was in this game called Final Fight 2. She was fighting these like gang guys in the street, and the idea of her like battered and bruised. So you can have her like cut, like you can have she's got little scrapes and stuff, and she's like lying on the ground and getting like gang raped, and you can have her getting gang raped by orcs. You can make her battered and bruised, but you can't make her you can't make tarantulas touching her. For some reason they're like, nope, that's too bad. But you can do tentacles going into her pussy, and you can have her in like a torture chamber, but they won't have like torture happening. You can't have like, she can't have her getting like electric prodded or something. What's the point? Anyway, I deserve to be alone. I'm just gonna do this until I'm dead. I just want to feel alive. Increasingly, I'm just like, whatever. It's all. I used to think the stuff was like really like bad, and now I'm just like, whatever. I'm not hurting anybody. Like anything to just like feel alive. It's just like, I just want to feel alive. What's what? Because everything's so dead around here. You pretty proud of yourself, Sean? Anyway, let's do some good. Let's get. So this transparency is kind of good because, dude, nobody's watching this, right? But originally, when I started live streaming like 10 years ago, and then eventually I was just like, oh, I should just live stream all day, because the original reason I started live streaming all day is because that's what I used to do all day when I didn't live stream. But even before I started live streaming, so like 10 years ago, I was doing the exact same thing. As I was in my room, Christy had long broken up with me. I still was dreaming about women that look like Christy, and I was drawing them in some orc dungeon torture chamber getting fucked by orcs. And I used to draw them. I tried to make their breasts bigger and make them like in like some kind of like stockade. There's something kind of hot. There's all these different hot like ideas. Is like there's something hot about like a super sexy battle angel woman, and she like lost some battle to like orcs, and now she's in like a stockade. A stockade is like one of those things where your hands are in the thing, and then, or maybe she's like tied to like a tree stump, and some orc has her in the woods, and he's just like, some fat like green orc is like fucking her, and she's just like super hot, perfect angel woman getting fucked by some orc. There's something kind of hot about that. You know what's kind of hot is, for some reason, I'm just trying to make myself horny. I'm an old man just trying to, I just want to feel some life. But Grimoire, there's this thing called the Grimoire from Star Wars. There's something hot about these guys. Seem like just fucking the most disgusting, like I like the idea of some battle angel woman, super sexy battle angels, and they lost some battle to these like sick mutant Grimoirians. And the Grimoirian is just like, he's got her, and just slowly he just kind of like unzips his buckle, and he's still got his axe in his hand, and he's like, oh, I'll fucking hurt you if you try. And she's just defeated, and just like a battering ram, his dick just plunges into her, and she's just taken. She put up a good fight, and then just fucking boom, just coming in, big green sloppy dick. He's like drooling, and like he's like twitching and shit, like coming into her, and she's just this perfect patch of like blonde pussy, just penetrated by some fat fucking like disgusting thing, like drooling on her, Jamie, like, don't fucking move. And like there's something there's that used to like get me like so horny. And now like I'm getting so old that I'm just like, dude, it's not like 10 years ago I could get dude, I love life, and I like feeling anything, and I just want to still feel shit. So I'm gonna get hopped on this like testosterone. But like I used to draw this fantasy of like Cammy being fucked by Grimoirians in like a stockade. She's like a perfect sexy battle angel with perfect blonde pussy, and then like I would get so horny that like my hand would be shaking. I couldn't hold my pencil anymore. It would be like 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. It would be like sunrise, and like I would just be covered in like pre-cum, and I would just like finally jerk off, and it was just like great. And then I would like jerk off again like a half hour later. I could get so horny and just, which one? I want to feel like that again. I want to take all this like testosterone, and for the sake of my unborn child, I'm just gonna take like a milliliter of testosterone for next year. I'm gonna get this job, and my whole mission is like, fuck it, just be a fucking man. Take the fucking testosterone, whatever the hell you have to do. Just keep boners, keep jerking off, keep the cum flowing, and keep hitting on any woman of 50-mile radius, and just try to complete your fucking mammal job like every one of your fucking direct ancestors. Whatever you gotta do, just get drunk, do whatever you gotta do, go for broke. Because that's what I'm gonna do for the next 3 years. I'm just gonna try to stay horny, lower my standards, and just try to get my sick fucking impish mutant demon seed into any misguided, poor, desperate woman that will let me put my dick into my old fucking nasty dick into her fucking pussy. And it's gonna be like somebody who's just, if I'm lucky, she'll just be barely young enough to have kids. She'll probably be like a paraplegic woman or some like really desperate like woman with like a mustache or something. And which point I gotta lower my standards and I just gotta take what I can get and I gotta be a fucking man, take it for the fucking team, do it for your fucking unborn child. Anyway, okay, so moving on. Anyway, so do I want to help the dog? Yeah, let's help the dog. It's just like, okay, so this lady in Africa, because I'm basically thinking like, until we get somebody pregnant, I should do, let's just assume, like I'm going to try to get somebody pregnant, and if I have kids, then I'm going to hoard all the money for like my kids' college fund or something like that. Not all of it. I'll still try to do some do-gooder stuff. But anyway, in the meantime, this lady from Africa is saying like, oh, this guy Colby is not the Colby that I found. Anyway, I don't want to publicize his plight. Anyway, get the point. Okay, so I know your mission to help and those with suffering. I want to. So there's an elderly dog named Shark. He has been living around my apartment. He's been 12 years old. His original owner took him to a veterinary clinic, but after he ended up back on the streets, we've been feeding him, but he's in poor condition. He's heavily infested with fleas, very weak, and it's heartbreaking to see him like this. The nearest veterinary clinic is about an hour away in Karen, so getting him there and ensuring he receives proper treatment is difficult. I was wondering what you think. If it turns out his condition can be treated, it would be wonderful to have him admitted until he recovers. If the vet determines that he's suffering beyond recovery, then at least he could be spared further pain and receive compassionate care. I've always loved dogs. My daughter grew up with a puppy, and I've come to believe some of the most loyal companions anyone can have. There's absolutely no pressure. I just wanted to share Shark's story with you and hear your thoughts. Thank you, my friend. All right, so one thing I want to do is basically I'm going to use this video to basically like keep transparency. I'm going to assume that like Christy's gone forever, and let's just say it's highly likely that I'm too old and too fucked up and just weak and powerless to really do the whole Nan thing. And so get to the point. So basically on the next, like I'd like to do some good, but also I got to be realistic and transparent. Just basically be like, you know, you got to realize, Sean, you're kind of a prime target for getting like taken advantage of, especially since you're like a good-hearted, soft-hearted like person who's publicizing all of your details on the internet. So what's the point? So basically, like first thing I want to do just right off the bat, this lady has given me no reason to be like suspicious. But on the other hand, I can say like, hey, can you analyze an email and tell if it's been generated by AI? All right.
Yes, I can certainly help with that. It is profoundly kind of you to look out.
Yeah, does this email show signs of being generated by AI?
This email displays several characteristics commonly associated with AI-generated text, particularly when the prompt has requested a persuasive or emotionally charged message. Indicators of AI influence.
So it has indicators of AI influence. But it could possibly be real.
Yes, it is entirely possible that this email is real.
All right, so anyway, let's give her the benefit of the doubt, because actually, you know, that's like a real video of a dog. Looks like it's definitely in Africa. But boy, if I was watching myself, Oh, can't watch that. Let's. Oh, now I'm gonna get banned. Anyway, okay. So what are we doing? Okay, so basically, I can't post this video on YouTube anymore. It's fine. Nobody's watching anyway. All right. So anyway, what's the right thing to do? Okay. So the right thing is basically say like, hey, sure. Okay. How much to take care of the dog? Now, I wish I could just have like if I'm going to keep doing this, it would be nice to just kind of have like transparent funding. Like right now my funding is like I had close to $2,000 a week and a half ago. I have $178 right now. And so basically I wish I could just say like, well, I'm going to send another $80 tomorrow for food for strangers. And then I can send like a little for this dog, and then I gotta sort of like get a job. And dude, there's this quote from Emerson though, where he's like, I confess with shame I sometimes succumb and give the dollar. It is a wicked dollar, which by and by I shall have the manhood to withhold. Now, I'm just kind of curious about that quote. It's just kind of like, hey, in Ralph Waldo Emerson's book, Self-Reliance, he says like, I confess sometimes I give the dollar. It is a wicked dollar, one by which I hope to one day have the manhood to withhold. Why is the word wicked used? Like, why is wicked associated with giving money to charity, and then why is it associated with manhood to like not give to charity?
In Self-Reliance, Emerson uses
the wicked motivation. Emerson argues that society has turned virtue into social performance, a way to apologize for existing, or a fine paid to look good in the eyes of others. Yeah, but it's still a good deed. Like even if it's vanity, it's still kind of good if the result is good. Wicked motivation. When you give a dollar out of societal pressure, guilt, or desire to appear good on parade, you aren't acting out of genuine love or personal conviction. Emerson views this as wicked because it is an act of in imitation and conformity rather than an act of your own authentic sovereign soul. The transactional trap. He compares this to the invalids and the insane paying a high board, a fee, to survive in society. He finds it hollow because it is defensive, submissive gesture. You are trying to buy social approval or expiate, atone for your own life. He wants his actions to be an expression of his true internal nature. Yeah, but like the good is still good. Like if you give money to like a starving dog or like a starving kid or something like that, even if first of all, nobody really knows your real reason for doing it. But whatever the reason, if the result is still like somebody not starving, that result is still good. Isn't that true? For sure.
You are highlighting the divide between consequentialism, the idea that the outcome, a fed child, is the only thing.
That's what I keep thinking, is like...
Yes, Emerson would look at that same...
Emerson would look at that same situation, essentially say, yes, the outcome is good, but you are still losing. He acknowledges that the person in need is... Well, first of all, why the fuck am I going to Emerson, this guy who's just some dude who lived like 150 years ago? I should like think for myself. Emerson should say like, why are you even just looking to Emerson is kind of like not going on your own fruition or your own listening to your own heart. He acknowledges that the person in need is helped, but his concern is that you have mistaken a social transaction for a moral action. I just like the idea of just say like, okay, let's say that it's terrible. Let's say You know, you give money to like save a starving dog, or you give money to save a starving person. If you like save somebody or really improve somebody's life or help them not be sick, call it whatever you want. Call it wicked, call it whatever. It seems like, I don't know, that's the side I want to be on. Like helping people not die and not be sick. If that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
You are staking out a position that stands in direct
Anyway, the only thing that kind of can come to my mind is basically that like Jocko says this thing where like when you give a dollar somewhere, you're kind of taking it from somewhere else. And so you know, basically the thing I think is like, well, if you were going to have kids, if you have kids, like if you ever have kids, then you could kind of think like, dude, like maybe you should like save for your future kids' college fund. But if you're 46 years old, in my case, and like nobody's wanted to have sex with you for like 3 years, and like it's looking pretty much like you're done, you're over, there's no more sex, you're tired and old, you got nothing else to do. Seems like helping the sick or saving lives or even saving dogs' lives is like, it's hard to think of that being as like a bad thing. If you're trying to think like, what's a good thing to do? I don't know, helping others is like, it's hard to think of like a better, it's hard to think of that as like bad. It's like, it's hard to think of that as like a waste of time or something. It is like vanity though also.
You are articulating a shift in perspective that moves beyond abstract philosophy and into the reality.
I think this, I'm going to go ahead and say this, is like, if my ex never comes back, and if no woman from my age onward will have sex with me, and I can't get anybody pregnant anymore because I'm too old and like pathetic and powerless or whatever, I'm just too old and not attractive anymore, well then like, it just seems like something good to do is like helping others. If I can use these videos to like get myself to do that, I want to do that, because you know, it's just something good to do. It's like to do some good. It gives me some kind of purpose, and just I don't know, it just kind of seems like a next best thing. Like if I can't pass life on to some kid, if I can like help some others, seems better than just completely investing in myself. Because there was a dude who like lived up the street who just did nothing but bought toys, and he just died, and like it was just kind of like a big waste. And then he just seemed like sad and lonely, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it seems like the money goes further with others who are like on the other side of the world, or like animals or something, you know. Dude, that dude, he bought like a bunch of toys. He just bought like water jet skis, and like he restored cars and bought all these cars that he didn't even use. And you could like save lives with that. It seems kind of like, you know, saving lives if possible is like should be more important than like some fucking cars that you can't take with you when you die. What do you think?
You're describing a transition from an egocentric life.
Anyway, okay, so all right, so that's a good thing to say. It's like, sure, how much to take care of the dog? I don't want to publicize this guy. This guy doesn't have his last name on here, so get the point. I don't want to publicize this guy's email, but dude, if he's not watching this, you're probably not watching this, dude. It sucks to lose a girlfriend, right? I miss my ex. I miss my ex. I miss sex, and I'm still trying. I'm still desperately hitting on every woman in a 50-mile radius, but nobody's into me anymore. I'm like old and like I'm kind of a dopey old guy now. Anyway, that's kind of my plan, is like I just want to try to keep this job, and then I want to try to like make videos to try to do some like do-gooder stuff. I'll tell you what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try to do do-gooder stuff, but then if I can, I'm still gonna try to get laid and try to get somebody pregnant. And if I get somebody pregnant, then I'll probably like hoard more money for my kid, I would imagine. But like, yeah, Emerson had kids, but I'll still like, I still want to do some do-good. I don't know, I need something to do. I'm just sitting around here like generating orc porn. It's like, it's kind of a waste, all this like just hanging out in my room doing nothing. It's kind of, it seems like kind of a waste. Anyway, so yeah, I'm starting a job on Friday. I'm just gonna keep saying the same shit. I'm gonna try to get laid still, but I'm not holding my breath, and so I'm gonna try to do some like do-gooder stuff and like invest in myself also. But like, I'm gonna try to diversify. I'm like gonna be 50 in like 3.5 years. I should kind of invest in some others, I think. Okay.